Hi, and welcome to tonight's study in the book of Proverbs. Well, we're finally there. We're going to start with the first collection of Solomonic Proverbs, what most people consider Proverbs. And for the first 9 chapters, Solomon painted a contrast between wisdom and folly in really broad strokes. And it was geared towards teaching, and primarily teaching children, teaching his son. So it was primarily a book to do that. It was secondarily a book to teach other children, and then after that, to teach everybody how to live. So, but he's going to go from this really broad teaching about wisdom and folly to approximately 400 proverbs, and in most of which he does the same thing. He juxtaposes wisdom and folly and compares them. Now, it's something that it almost seems random. They're not grouped. Sometimes you'll find groups of them, but if you try to group them together under classifications, you're not going to be able to do it. But sometimes they're loosely grouped, and we'll look at that when that does happen. Now, these are not secular proverbs to lead a good life. These are proverbs to make you holy, to make you set apart, to make you godlike, to make you live a godly life. And that's the focus. That being said, if you follow these, you will lead a good life, a good secular life. Now, these are not absolutes, and sometimes there's exceptions. It's interesting because you'll see a couple places where a couple of them that are really close are the complete opposite. Now, in the beginning, when we started this, whenever I study a book like this, I do a teaching on it. I've read the book before, but I don't read it in depth before deciding to do the teaching. I pray, and then if I feel that I'm led to do this book in a certain way, then I do it. And what God laid on my heart was that it would be a few minutes in Proverbs, but it really hasn't been a few minutes in Proverbs. It's been quite a few minutes in Proverbs. And that's because they were these big, long chapters. But now it's going to get down into a few minutes each time of looking at maybe 1, 2, 3, or sometimes more proverbs, depending on whether it's a group of them, whether there's a lot of meat, and certain ones that you could do a study for hours on just one. Now, the first one is in chapter 10, verse 1, and it says this: the Proverbs of Solomon. A wise child makes a father rejoice, but a foolish child is a grief to his mother. So it's interesting to kick off the Solomonic Proverbs, and Solomon might not have written all these. There's a good possibility he compiled them. And he doesn't give a proverb to his son, but in a way he gives a proverb to parents. It's about a son, but it's a warning to parents. And if you look at this, in most family settings, it's hard to get your dad to rejoice in you. I know there's exceptions to that, but a lot of times dads are kind of like, well, you should be doing that. But it's easy to get mom to rejoice in her baby no matter what that child does, especially if it's a son. So here, the way that it's written, he's saying that a wise son will make even his dad rejoice, and a foolish son can make even his mother grieve for him. So for him to kick off with this proverb is big. If you're a parent, you need to teach. And whether you're a parent with little kids or a parent with big kids, you need to know these proverbs. You need to start to live by these proverbs. You need to teach these proverbs to your children and grandchildren, maybe even great-grandchildren. You need to teach them to love wisdom and hate folly. Now your homework this time is, if you're a mom or dad, that you would pray that God would use this book to teach you what to teach to your children, so that your children will, well, what's it say? Make you rejoice and not make you grieve. To understand what's in this book and to teach it to your children. If you're not a parent, I'm asking you to pray that God would lay a parent or a set of parents on your heart, and you would pray daily for that wisdom to happen to them, for them to get into this book, for them to start to take this wisdom into their own counsel as parents, and then to teach it to their children. Until next time, God bless you.